Okay, need a Phillips screwdriver. A drill is nice to have, but you got to remember all the parts are made out of extruded aluminum, so I would recommend just having a screwdriver only. Flathead screwdriver. You can have a level. You can have a 10 millimeter wrench, 10 millimeter socket and ratchet, a 3/4 inch wrench, and some small channel locks just for snugging up the fittings for the water lines. That's all you're going to need. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so what you're going to notice right off the bat, you have some feet. You got a nut right there and some thread. You're going to get a level. You're going to level the base by adjusting the feet on the bottom. We'll show you now how you adjust the feet on the bottom. Then you can thread the foot in and out where it needs to be. Remembering, once you get it to its set point, you get the wrench, snug up that nut so it locks the foot in place. Next step is our two main glass walls. Now we're going to look down and you're going to see here in the bottom that we have along right here is a U channel. And we've got this piece here. So this side is going to slide directly into that U channel. No need for silicone. There we go. And we're going to line up a couple screw holes right there. Once we get our screws in, we're going to scroll down. There's going to be a large hole there. There's a large hole at that end. And a large hole over at that end that these inserts set into. So this guy here, he has his insert already sitting down there. We're going to make sure it's set down. Then we're going to put a bracket. We're going to set on top. And then we're going to screw that bracket to the aluminum column and then run a bolt through. Now that rubber bushing is pliable, so it's going to create a seal. And this is where you're going to use your Phillips screwdriver to put the screw in, and then the 10 millimeter wrench and the 10 millimeter socket to tighten up the bolt. That's right. Okay, next piece we're going to grab is the solid door piece. It's called the solid door piece because it has the hinges to the door, but it's solidly mounted. So it's going to go, and it's going to sit down again as well. Now this has, if we keep the top open quickly, you guys will see it has the U channel groove, or this piece is going to go inside of it, and you've got your mounting screw holes that are all going to line up. Okay. You're also going to have, we can just tilt that back a little bit, fellas. On the bottom right here is your rubber gasket. Now there's ribs on this rubber gasket. The ribs are going to go to the outside because that's the surface the ribs are going to sit against. So the ribs go to this side and to the bottom. So we set that back down into the slot. There we go. You'll notice now that this piece was put in because this additional piece right here we just put in has a Phillips screw for the mounting bracket to hold it stationary. So once we put this side piece in, now we can mount down to the bottom with the bushing. Okay, after attaching the piece with the bushing and the mounting bracket, there's also a Phillips screw is going to go in the end right here just to secure this cosmetic panel. Next piece we're going to put in is a solid glass piece. It's going to be a glass wall to go on the edge of the shower here. And again, you'll notice the type of U channel. It's going to slide right in. Again, as well, on the bottom, we need to attach the bottom gasket. There's going to have ribs on this outside to go down in this slot here and rub against this surface right here and sit down, and it's going to lock inside of this little deal right there. There we go. Once it was in, we've got the screws. We're putting the side, and down at the bottom, we're putting the mounting bracket to the base with the bushing and the bolt, using the 10 millimeter wrench and ratchet to secure it down to the base. Okay, now as we get the roof trim set up, it just simply sits on top there. I like putting Lego together. And there will be a set screw on both ends to hold it into place. Look down here, you see the two holes right there, and we just run a set screw in there to hold it in place. Okay, next piece is we're going to take the glass door and we're going to mount the glass door on. We also want to take the magnetic strip, back up there, we're going to take the magnetic strip piece, put it on the outside. The top is going to get the flange that comes straight up. This is going to come up on the inside of the shower. The bottom is going to have a piece that comes out. It's got a little bit of like a 45-degree niche right there, and it acts kind of like an eaves trough on a house. So the water is going to run down the inside and drip out. So we're going to assemble that on, and we've got this piece right here. And that's going to go on the hinge side. Okay, so what we're going to do here is for mounting the door actually, is you need to have a rubber gasket. And you got the Allen key. The best is to put the Allen key right into the nut. Use it as a tool. You're going to feed it through the door. You want to use the bolt to actually catch the first gasket. And then just move it over to line it up with the screw hole for the other side of the hinge. Alright, now I'm going to go over the gaskets of the door again quickly. So you'll see your top gasket goes up inside. You've got your magnetic strip. You've got this flap. I'm just going to step inside. Try to get an angle that we can see what's going on here. You got this piece on the inside, so when the door closes, seals off, door opens, comes out. Bottom of your door has that little trough, so the water can run down the door, hit the trough to the inside, and both your magnetic strips line right up. So there. So magnetic strips out of the corner. There it is. Notice there are gaskets on either side. Okay, and then we've got little cosmetic pieces, nice little caps, and cap just presses into place. Okay, now we're going to put the roof on. One thing you want to notice is just the direction of where the wires are. Like for your lights, the wires are sitting on this side. Same as your water spout is facing this way, and other lights. So everything's sitting on for this side. So you're going to want to make sure that the side all the wires are leading to is the side that's going to go towards the back panel for being able to hook up the water and electrical. Now the roof panels, there are pre-made holes in the wood and in the panel itself. So you're going to grab your screws and you're going to screw the roof onto the unit. Put all the screws in. Okay, for the shower handle assembly, the assembly is going to come looking like so, with the mounting brackets mounted on the inside. There's a set screw right there for an Allen key, so we're going to undo that Allen key, that set screw with the Allen key. We're going to take this out, and then we're going to take this small bolt and nut. The bolt's going to go through there, through the back side of the glass panel, and then the nut's going to connect it on the other side. So that's how that's going to be mounted. Another thing I just want to point out really quick is this is your holder for your handheld shower assembly, and it slips in. It is directional, so if you try to go in the wrong way, it's not going to fit. So just note that. It is adjustable as well with this. We'll go over that later. But anyway, so we're going to assemble these, the mounting brackets. And we'll come around to the back side. Snugged up. We set it back in place, and he's going to do up the set screws with the Allen key for the bottom and then the top, and that's mounted. Next we're going to do the shelf. Here, I'll come over. Again, we got the screws. Screws are sit in. They're going to come through the backside, through the glass. We've got our nuts to do up on the backside. We've got a set screw on the bottom of both of these, so that set screw will be on the bottom, and it's going to hold the shelf inside of there. Okay, so now we're going to mount the handheld shower. You've got your gasket. You're going to make sure you always have a gasket in your water fittings. That's going to go in the seal. It's going to thread onto the inlet. A little snug with the channel locks. Just a little snug with the channel locks is all they'll ever need. It's a good idea to put some duct tape onto the jaws of your channel locks, then you won't have to worry about damaging any of the chrome pieces. And there's your handheld shower. Adjustable up and down. Okay. So once we have those secure and level, we'll take the shelf, set the shelf in place, and with the flathead screwdriver, we're going to tighten up the set screws under the bottom. At this point, we're going to want to be careful as well. One is you're going to center it properly. You're also not going to tighten those set screws too tight because you are dealing with glass. Okay, next what we do is you can, we're pretty much done inside, so we're going to get a rag. You can wipe everything down inside, and we're going to set the floor down. Now looking at your floor pieces, there is, down the one side there, you can see that it's set back a bit. And it's flush on this side again, flush on this side, set back. So when we come over to the shower, you can see how there's a bit of a lip right there, and there's a lip on this side. So obviously, this part that's cut out is going to go to the sides, and where it's flush, they're going to go to the centers to meet up. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to get up and we're going to do connections onto the roof. First one is you're going to grab the water hose. You're going to make sure that you have your gasket in there, and you're going to connect that to the rain shower top. Again, you're going to thread that, pretty much go finger tight, and then take the channel locks and give it another quarter a turn to half of a turn. Here you go. Next we're going to do our electrical connections. So what we're going to take is one at a time. You're going to take your plug. This one here is a picture of a fan. You can't really see it coming through, but there's a picture of a fan on that. So we're going to run that to the fan. It's going to plug in. Next one we got, it's got a light bulb on it, so that's going to plug into the lights. And it might go to one side or the other because there's two ends for the lights because they all run in series. Next one looks like a speaker, has a picture of a speaker on it. So it's obviously going to hook up to the speaker. And this one doesn't have any label on it, but it has 4 pins on it, and it's the only one that matches up with the same light, which is another series of lights. Next we have your antenna. You're also going to get in your package, you're going to get 2 drop drywall inserts with screws to mount the antenna if you want to mount it up in the ceiling or anything, or we can just loop them up on top of the roof. Okay, all the water fittings, you're going to want to make sure that they're snugged up and tight before you actually walk away. Also, I really want to point out, you look at the base of this unit, the bottom here, it has some large sides all the way around that are going to contain the water. They also have, if you look from the back, you can see it grooving down. Now, if I come around to the inside of the shower, you can see right there those troughs that are running right into it from the outside. So there is no need to silicone this base. There are some gaskets on it. Everything up top is sealed up. But when it comes down to the base, do not silicone that base in, because you do have, your entire base is built sufficient to contain any water. And it's also built in a manner too to have a bit of a safety area in the back here. It's going to drip back down into this rear area and allow the water to come into the shower instead of causing any damage to the floor area. We have at the bottom here, you have this hose. Sometimes it's extra long and kinked off. It's the drain hose for the steam unit, and that runs down in the bottom down to the rest of the drain. That's roughly it. You got your ETL approval. Okay, for your electrical, you have a main line coming in. It gets hardwired. It's going to run 230 volts, 30 amp circuit. Couple points inside to bring out. Your top selector. It's going to select for what option you're using, if it's your rain shower or your handheld type of deal. Your next dial down turns the water off and on. Your third one at the bottom here is actually your temperature selector for turning it up and down. So that's colder. As I turn it up and get hotter, it's going to get up to 38 degrees. Once you reach 38 degrees, you need to depress this button to go any hotter. Just a safety feature to eliminate anybody scalding themselves, or children, or drunk people. Down here is your steam. You can dial this as well. So the steam will just go down into the grates. So you can picture the grates there and diffuse out. Or you can turn it. The safest obviously is just to have it down and diffusing.